Obviously, like I've been Dominatrix of the Year multiple years in a row. My take on the whole thing definitely comes from a very, femdom perspective point of view. So I'm like, yeah, let's make the entire world of men all sissy bitches. Sissification all the way in my bimbo Barbie room. Generation Z has got it right about like gender. And not necessarily about the physicality of gender, but the roles that we have stereotypically put that women are supposed to act this way and men are supposed to act that way. I've had to be so masculine to succeed in life that even myself, I don't think that we're at a place in society yet of where a woman can just be feminine and be successful.
But first, a word from our sponsors.
Beducated is the masterclass for all things sex. Get better in bed and feel more confident by clicking the link at the top of the show notes or use promo code MANWHORE at beducated.com. It's like educated, but with a B at the front, so you know how to tickle the B on the back. When your mission is beyond missionary, step up your game with Liberator. Their collection of transformable sex furniture and sex toy mounts will put you in sexual positions you never thought were possible. Use promo code MANWHORE and save 40% off the best-selling Wedge Ramp combo at Liberator.com. Everybody loves a mashup, right? Peanut butter and chocolate, Real World and Road Rules, and now the Motor Bunny and Bad Dragon. Yes, my sponsor, the Motor Bunny, has partnered up with Bad Dragon to bring you some of your favorite fantasy dildos as vibrator attachments. Now you can ride Ica or Orochi or Flint while cranking up the vibes. With dozens of accessories and attachments like the Dungeon Master restraint belt or the realistic feeling My Friend Dick attachment, Motor Bunny keeps creating fun ways to play with the most powerful toy in your war chest. If you don't have one yet, get $50 off your very own Motor Bunny or Motor Bunny Buck at manwhorepod.com/motorbunny or use code MANWHORE at checkout. Get there fast to take advantage of time-sensitive Black Friday deals. So again, go to manwhorepod.com/motorbunny. Link always in the schnotes.
Welcome to the Man Whore Podcast.
Shout out to the couples who cuck, the solos who swing, and the gangs that bang. With their cocks, not their glocks. This is Billy Procida, and you are listening to the Man Whore Podcast. Woo, what's up, what's up? Roommate wars, they are starting again. Longtime listeners remember hashtag where's the Pam. Let me tell you, where's the pans? I don't know, maybe I'll tell you more about that later. Check the Discord. What's up, people? Big news this week. Porn legend Brittany Andrews, the pioneer of pegging, AVN Dominatrix of the Year, I don't know how many times over, is on the podcast this week. We're talking about going from MILF to GILF. We're talking about bringing more intimacy in her sober sex life and more. And I cannot wait to share that conversation with you in just a little bit. But first, show dates, people. Show dates. Hey, Naked Comedy Show. What a blast. We had 2 sold-out crowds to close out the year. The next shows at Hacienda will be January 26th. In the meantime, I've got quite a few show dates coming up here. You can check the schnotes to see those. Got a couple spots even next week. So, check those. Come on out. See me do some stand-up with my pants on. I've got an email. This is a big email, so if you hate when I read out the emails, you may want to skip forward about, I don't know, like 10, 15 minutes. Okay? Sorry. Somebody needs some help. Subject line is abundance versus scarcity. He writes, "Hi, I heard your recent interview on Strictly Anonymous. Yes, I was back. Everybody on the Strictly Anonymous podcast. You can scroll back to last month over there and find my most recent episode. We kind of got into a fight again, but I guess that's our podcasting relationship. It was interesting, entertaining, and informative. I had never heard of your podcast before this interview. That doesn't sting at all. I'm writing in regards to your experience of shifting your mindset from scarcity to abundance without experiencing the abundance part first, or, quote, faking it until you made it. I was disappointed that instead of being able to hear how you did this, I had to listen to her, dude, woman-splain over you. I don't know. Sometimes people just explain at you. I don't think we gotta always gender it. Unless it's about crypto or fantasy football, then we know exactly who's doing that. And Taylor Swift, which we know who's doing that one. Anyways, can you or have you talked about how you made this mindset transition? I've been suffocating for decades from scarcity mindset since childhood and would like to know more. I'm even interested in how to transition to abundance mindset in general, although obviously sexual abundance seems like it would be a crucible test of success. Thanks. And, wow, decades. That sounds like hell. I'm assuming this dude's in his, 30s or 40s, maybe 50s, but I'm just going to take a whack at that. So on this podcast, I talked a lot about how I think a lot of dudes view pussy as this like scarce resource they're trying to get, as opposed to sex with a woman as like a collaborative, connected experience. I think a lot of men, even the ones who like maybe call themselves good guys and are trying to, not be rapists, and they're going, great, just teach me the rules of how to like not be a rapist, because I want to get pussy, but I don't want to do the bad thing. And I think good, I guess, that's fine. It's still viewing pussy as a goal, as like something to obtain, just being like, what's the checklist of things I need to do to get the sex, as opposed to really like engaging, and I think if you don't have a lot of sex, I think that can, you can easily fall into like a scarcity mindset. You could put the pussy on a pedestal, as they say in 40-Year-Old Virgin, right? So, I think I recognized that in myself early on and tried not to fall into that. But then again, when I was in college, I kind of fell into a lot of really fun sex. So I don't know. It's not fucking easy to make that switch. And I think the older you get, the more instilled it is in you, right? Like as a kid, I got told so much to just wait till high school or just wait till college. It was like the whole "it gets better" thing. You don't want to hear about how it's going to be better in the future. Even if you believe it will be, you want to not feel that pain now. And I sense some pain in this man's email. Just like I sense, I think during the Strictly Anonymous interview, I talked a bit about kind of incels and MRA guys and the dudes who are, again, viewing pussy in a certain lens. So when it came to girls, I was this romantic as a kid. I was a romantic who wrote love poems in middle school, and none of my crushes liked me back. I kissed 3 people before my 17th birthday. After a dozen years of nonstop bullying wherever I went, my confidence was in the shitter. And of course, every female friend would insist I was cute, but they were interested themselves, right? So, I obviously stopped believing them when they would say it, because I'm like, if I'm so cute, why don't you want to hook up with me? And but how did I fake it before I made it? I've talked, I think, before about this 10-day program I did the summer before senior year of high school. It was one of those college resume patters, like a leadership conference from people to people. But it was at the UCLA campus, so I was going to be around a bunch of teens who didn't know me. And it was the first time I was going to be around so many people who didn't know me for the first time in a long time. They were people who didn't know I was a loser back home. They hadn't heard this embarrassing story or had seen me cry in front of, the entire school or anything like. It was a fresh slate. And the short version is I made a few people laugh on check-in day. And that morning in the bathroom, I did some push-ups and I looked in the mirror and I realized I was okay. And I kind of just gave myself permission to not be a loser. At least for these 10 days, or 9, I guess, at that point, I was going to not be a loser. And whether I was faking it or was just being a different variant of Billy, I was a hit. People thought I was funny and cool, but they thought I was sensitive and kind and a good listener. I smooched, I fooled around with 3 different girls. 3 different girls. I had kissed 3 girls to this point, and then in this 9-day period, I kissed 3 girls. One of them on Splash Mountain. And one of these women have been on the podcast. Amanda, she's been on a couple times. And people wanted to stay in touch with me when I left. They wanted to be my friend. I didn't really have many friends before this. So when I went back to boarding school senior year, I was just a different guy. I didn't lose myself in ego, but I just brought with me some newfound confidence. And confidence draws people to you. My senior year at boarding school, I smooched, fooled around with, I think, like another 3 girls. Nobody Hyde was really interested in me. All of a sudden, girls were kind of drawn to me. They thought I was cute. They wanted me to finger them in a breakout room in Amherst Hall. It all just builds on itself. And I'm not some sort of motivational speaker. Regular listeners know this. I'm not a guru. I'm not a coach or anything like that. I'm just a fuckhead, chuckle fuck with a microphone. This is just my experience. Inertia is really hard to start. But once you get the ball rolling, it fucking rolls. So as far as your sexual scarcity, one thing that helps is, to steal from 40-Year-Old Virgin again, don't put the pussy on a pedestal. That doesn't mean to disrespect women or think they're less than. I keep trying to insist, and I think I was doing it on Strictly Anonymous, that it's not that big of a deal. Sex only seems like a big deal when you haven't had a lot of it. It's awesome, but if you make it this Mount Everest to climb, the pressure is too big. If every opportunity to flirt comes with the pressure of like needing this time to work so you can maybe have the sex, maybe you don't know when the next time you'll have the sex or an opportunity to maybe have the sex. And if sex is so important to you that there needs to be a next time sooner than later, that sucks. And she can sense it off you in subtle, unconscious ways. Remember, my female friends in high school would say, "You're cute and you're a nice guy," and a girl would be really lucky, but like, I'm not going to be the girl who's going to touch your penis because all this lack of confidence and desperation, it's, wow, really, a pussy dryer. Desperation is not an attractive cologne. There's also some special spot on the spectrum of being a nice guy without being so respectful that you asexualize yourself. I think that's what I was doing in high school. And I think that's what a lot of guys still do. The guys who, they want to be a nice guy, they want to be respectful, but they also want to get laid, and they don't know how to mix those without being an asshole that they hear their female friends complain about. I know that's what held me back. So I don't want to tell you to chill out so that you seem chilled out, so you seem more attractive, so more women will be drawn to you so that you can ultimately get the sex. I want you to just not see it as such a huge deal. And I want you to fake some confidence to talk to a woman as a human being that you might or might not click with, as opposed to how a lot of guys talk to women as pussy gatekeepers. Maybe you click, maybe you don't. It's not a big deal either way. If it clicks, that's great. If it clicks and y'all fool around, awesome. If you click and then it just doesn't work out, also fine too. Life goes on. Now, I think this guy was asking if I had specific episodes that would cover this, and as many of you know, this isn't really a topic-based show. But I think the woman who took my virginity when I was 18 offered some insight on episode 222. I don't think you realized how cute you were. And she talked about how all of her friends at this party at her house that I went to the night that we slept together the first time, she told me how all of her female friends could tell. They were all kind of looking at me like, why is that cute guy acting so shy? He's acting like one of the fuggos. And I'm looking at him. He's not one of the fuggos. Why is he acting like a fuggo? But here's the secret. No, even the uggos shouldn't act like an uggo. If an uggo acts like a hot person, guess what? Now you're a hot person. People are drawn to that. There's some people, they just want to see a very certain facial symmetry and body type, but more people, more women than not want to, I don't know, they want to sense the confidence on you. And I probably could have fingered more girls in high school if I did. But then, again, maybe I would have become a smug asshole who works in finance instead of a smug asshole who works in comedy and makes less money than if he had fingered more girls in high school. So I don't know. But Lee, I hope you're hearing this, because that means then you click the buttons. Hope you did. Hope you're here. Hope you're hearing this. And I hope you find what you need. And if you want to send me an email with your comments, with your questions, with your replies to anything in the episode, you can send any and all of that over to manwhorepod@gmail.com. Before we get to Brittany Andrews, and oh my, Brittany Andrews, gotta do a quick fan whore appreciation moment. This is the part of the podcast where I like to give shout outs to members of my fan whore community on Patreon. My Patreon community, you are all so supportive, and I really appreciate you giving me some sense of financial security with your monthly and annual pledges. Shout out to all of the annual pledges, by the way, who signed up recently, because that was a really nice boost to have as I'm buying, Christmas presents for my niece and nephew, for my family. You get an annual membership, you get a discount, but I do get all of that up front, which is awesome. And it's really awesome to thank Ethan Small. Thanks for being a member, man. Think you could engineer me a ceramic fleshlight? I don't know. Think about it. All the other fleshlights I use, they're just too loose. They just don't do the job. So if you do it, just can you make it tighter? Thanks, man. And thank you for supporting the pod on Patreon. You too can become a member, support the show, and receive a slew of great rewards, including a bonus episode with Brittany Andrews out tomorrow. Become a member today, support the pod you love at patreon.com/manwhorepodcast, or download the Patreon app and find me on there. All right, Brittany Andrews, everybody. She's a big, busty MILF who's, already starting to be a big, busty GILF. Let's go have a chat with Brittany Andrews. I think any seasoned fucker can remember moments when they went, ooh, when they've moved a knee a little more that way, when they've tilted their hips a little bit thus. I mean, gosh, when I figured out that I could do doggy style so much better when I'm up on one knee like a horny Captain Morgan instead of just on the two knees with my limited range of motion, changed the fuck game forever. And Liberator's Fuck Furniture helps you find new ways to bang. And it makes deeper positions more comfortable. And you can't say comfortable without cum. Liberator offers more than just sex furniture. They also offer bondage accessories, sex pillows, sex toys, sex toy mounts, waterproof sex blankets, leather accessories, and more. Just in time for the holiday season, Liberator is running a sex room giveaway sweepstakes from December 1st to the 15th. All you have to do is visit Liberator.com and subscribe to their email list. That's it. You could win over $3,000 worth of goodies. Go to Liberator.com, enter the sweepstakes by giving them your email address, or click the link in the notes to check out their best-selling wedge ramp combo and use promo code MANWHORE for 40% off. Stop Googling how to lick this and how to stroke that and how to make them. Beducated.com has all the courses you need to improve your sex skills and better your love life. Yes, my sponsor this week, Beducated.com. Been talking about them for years. And there's a reason. When you Google things, it's not giving you the best results because that content, that video, that blog has the best answers. I mean, it's giving you the best results for search engine optimization. I mean, so long as you include certain words and phrases in the right spots in your article, so long as you titled and tagged your video with the correct terms in the correct spots, that's what determines what Grandpa Google shows you. At Beducated.com, you don't have to worry about searching how to be better at anal fingering and then think, oh God, am I going to have to click 5 different things to get the type of answer I'm looking for? No. Beducated.com's already got a course with an experienced sex educator who will teach you how to do the thing. Beducated is so confident that they have the courses you need. They have a 14-day money-back guarantee. When you read a half dozen Content Farm articles, okay, you can't get that time back if you're dissatisfied. And Beducated is going to make it even easier for you to sign up. They are offering Fan Whore Nation a 50% discount when you click the link in the notes or use promo code manwhore at Beducated.com. But they want you to click the link. So click the link. Click the link at the top of the notes or use the promo code at BEDUCATED.com.
So I would definitely have had a relationship with testosterone during my perimenopausal years.
Oh, that's why you take it, is because of that.
I did take it for that reason.
Okay.
However, I do have a lot of adorable Asian employees that work for me. And I started treating them not so fabulously while I was on the testosterone. Testosterone is a real drug. Are we actually going?
Oh, yeah,
no?
you're going.
Oh, we're going. So testosterone is actually like a real drug. Since I started taking testosterone, I had a lot more understanding of the male plight. Because as a woman that's a sex worker that kind of looks at men that they want to stick their dick anywhere, everywhere, all the time, and not understanding that, once I got on testosterone, I started understanding why men can be dicks and need to use their dicks all the time. So, but yes, I decided to quit taking testosterone because it literally, in the beginning, it was really working for my sexuality. Mm-hmm. Because I've also been on birth control since I've been like 13 years old, nonstop. So like, I got enough estrogen, right? And so I really did need to do some balancing out of the hormones, which is what happens when you are perimenopausal. And maybe even before that, I was having issues and I didn't realize it with the hormones. But I made a conscious decision that I didn't want to be a raging cunt to my employees. So I said, we've got to stop the testosterone. And I'm like, yes, I hope they, because I have heard that they are putting like estrogen in the water, which is why like men are becoming more like feminized. And I'm like, I like it. I like it. It's good for the planet in the world if we're not all running around with a hard dick and being a complete raging cunt. So
I mean, but like, is it estrogen in the water, or is it like we're finally trying to let men share their feelings for a change?
I think it's a combination of both, and I'm here for the entire thing. I think it's all good for the planet. I can understand, my hairdresser, the hair whisperer in Las Vegas. She does like all the porn stars and stuff. We've had this conversation about, femininity and masculinity and our thoughts on it. Obviously, like I've been Dominatrix of the Year multiple years in a row. My take on the whole thing definitely comes from a very, femdom perspective point of view. So I'm like, yeah, let's make the entire world of men all sissy bitches. Sissification all the way in my bimbo Barbie room. And she's like, well, I think masculinity is important. And I think at the end of the day, there's women like myself that are very masculine and there are men that are very feminine. I've got an Asian houseboy. He's very feminine. He's like brings women's studies to me to read, I'm
He's like handing you bell hooks?
Well, no, he gets on my phone on my Libby app and he puts it on which is the library, app. And so I was actually listening to one about the wise crone this morning. That's like women's study that he brought to me. And so I think we need to allow everybody to be who they are organically. And I think this concept of not assigning, women are supposed to act this way, men are supposed to act that way. I think, that Generation Z has got it right about like gender. And not necessarily about the physicality of gender, but the roles that we have stereotypically put that women are supposed to act this way and men are supposed to act that way. If we can organically allow people to be their authentic selves. And I think, even for myself, that's still a little bit difficult because we live in a man's world, right? I've had to be so masculine to succeed in life that even myself, I don't think that we're at a place in society yet of where a woman can just be feminine and be successful. And I can even say it to myself. Like, I'm somebody that like listens to tons of books. And if I get like an overly feminine voice, I have a very difficult time digesting that, which there's been so many studies that have shown if a woman speaks feminine, like in podcasts and all these different things, like there's just a natural turnoff because for so long
or like it depends on the subject matter that they're talking about.
Exactly. So
it's like, what's this lady brain doing talking about politics?
Yeah, exactly. We've got such a long way, and I'm still part of the problem, not the solution. But, I at least can see what the problem is, and I can participate trying to be a part of the solution as much as the restriction of where we're still at allows me.
But by even being cognizant of that, like you are part of the solution. You're a 50-year-old woman who's like even willing to battle with that thought. You're willing to catch yourself and go, ooh, I was thinking that. and like most people don't. Most people get to an age and they go like, fuck it, this is where I'm at and deal with me.
Right.
And you're clearly not like that, which is refreshing.
Well, I like to consider myself to be a compassionate and empathetic human being. And a huge part of that is being a spiritual human being, which is part of my feminine. I think that is a huge aspect of my feminism is my spirituality.
And the other aspect is the dominating men part.
Exactly.
It's a good time to say, I'm here right now.
There you go. Exactly. Well, so you walk into my room wearing this T-shirt that says, I'm saving pegging for marriage. And, anybody that is a fan of mine, whether they like that side of me or not, they're going to bump into it quite often. I'm known to be the pioneer of pegging. And
really?
Yes.
I truly did not know
You
that.
didn't know that.
I got to be honest, and I don't want to insult you, but
Yeah.
I don't know if I've seen much of your work.
Yeah,
I don't normally make it to the end credits.
Do you mind me asking how old you are?
I'm 34.
Yeah. So men that are older, there was a scene that I did with Jenna Jameson back in the day that I think was one of the first ever viral videos, right? And so it was a scene of me and her in the bathroom doing this lesbian scene, and it was over a toilet, and a bunch of it was like, it was at the time when Wicked Pictures was on E! Channel, hard copy was there, all these, and there was some golden showers that ended up happening organically in the scene. The publicist came running into the middle of the scene going, oh my God, you can't do that. We got hard copy here. We got the, E! Channel. So they did cut some of the best parts of it out, but I do think it was from a movie called Flashpoint. And when I tell guys, I was like, I'm the other girl in that scene with Jenna, they're like, oh my God, I love you. But you're too young. So
I never really fell down like I think I got out of the mainstream studio style porn rabbit hole very young.
Are you like more into like the many-vids?
I watch like Reddit. I go through Reddit.
Oh, okay, very good. Yeah.
Occasional Pornhub like viewing. I think I got out of that phase just a lot younger. I like in high school.
I would highly recommend if you're a Reddit person, because that means you are not paying for your porn. And that sex worker adjacent supportive would be then to go to like ManyVids or Clips for Sale, because then you're directly getting unique content from the content creators themselves, and also being a kind, nice gentleman with your penis and your wallet and supporting them.
Yes. Well, as the professional poor person I am, I used to, on the show, I used to have a segment. I started doing a segment where I was like, once a month, I'm going to pay for a subscription somewhere.
Oh, I love it. Yeah.
And then like
that is
shout it out.
That is a really good way to like tithe. Do a monthly tithe to your favorite content creator.
Yeah, and then tell them.
You can watch a bunch of other shit for free.
Exactly.
And then you can like have like a good, conscience, after you've busted your nut.
Yeah, but then what happened? Lady Spicer told me like if everybody put like $100 into the industry a year,
exactly,
the whole like y'all might get craft services again, right? And so
that's hilarious that somebody else said that.
But I did.
It must be an old bitch too, because it's been so long since there's been craft services.
But I did that for like 3 months, and then I got a sponsor who was like one of these porn sites became a sponsor. So I just couldn't do that anymore. And so then I would just be like, okay, I'm gonna tip this. Once a year, I'd be like, okay, who can I tip some monies at? I'll text some friends, be like, what's your Venmo? Let me.
There you go.
I owe you $20, I think.
So going back to the pioneer of pegging, because I told you I'm very diversified in my answers, and I'll totally get lost because I have so many things that I like to share with the public. But pioneer pegging. So obviously, I'm not the person that started pegging, right? But this is how I gave myself the title. At that particular time, it was the 90s, and it was on VHS, people. We're going to the Wayback Time machine here. And so there was very few female directors. The word content creator didn't exist. The word pegging didn't exist.
I don't think content existed.
Well, it did in the way that I kind of was making it. Like I was kind of ahead of my time, and that can even go into, the next part of what I'm going to say. But back then, there were very few female directors, and then even less producers. And when I first went to the distribution companies back then, so I produced it myself, I directed it myself, but then I had to find distribution, right? Back then, it was distribution companies that handled VHS distribution. And at that time, it was all, Cousin Vinny from New York, right? That did all the distribution for porn, right? So it was like Jewish Mafia did production of the studios, and then it was all Italian Mafia.
My people took care of the distribution.
Yeah, in New York, that did the distribution, Jewish Mafia production, LA, Hollywood, and then, all of the distribution was East Coast Italian Mafia. And I brought this, and I really thought back then, when I started making this content, these films, that it was going to be female sexual empowerment. Like I thought that the women were going to be the viewers, not men. And that's like what my whole head thought was about it, was really like, I'm making this to empower female sexuality, which I think long term, that goal was achieved. But really in my mind, I thought, okay, it's going to be like a female viewership, because at that point, it was the 90s, and it was the first time we had cable distribution as well. So softcore was like a big thing, and the Ron Jeremys were kind of out, and better looking men were coming in because of cable distribution and softcore.
Is this like when Kennedy and Nixon had the debate, and Nixon's like, I lost because we started having is kind of like that?
Well,
Ron Jeremy's just like, well, once we had more HD, I look even worse.
Exactly, dude. But it really was when the female viewer was coming into play. Playboy TV was something, Spice TV was something, and they realized that women wanted media to watch as well. And so that's where my mind was thinking. And so I went to like the Italian guy, the Italian Mafia, and he was like, what is this faggot shit? I can't distribute this. Now, of course, I know that is no longer politically correct to say, but that is exactly what the motherfucker said to me. I'm just sharing my experience. And so at that point, I went into distribution, which I literally can only think of maybe one other woman that was doing distribution back then, which was Candida Royale. Okay. And so I really was the first female to bring to film pegging on VHS. So that is why, I feel as though I earned the title of Pioneer of Pegging, because I did pioneer it when it comes to bringing it to film. Yeah.
I mean, I didn't realize you were like the pioneer of pegging. I just assumed.
And then you wore that shirt up into my room, babe.
It's just like my best. It's just my best shirt for Exotica.
I love it.
But I just assumed that over the 30-year career, you'd kind of done all.
Done some of it, yes.
I just figured
but no,
everything.
I'm a pioneer of it, actually. Yeah. Yes, I've always found men bent over with their fuckhole, peeking, just, kind of winking at me. Like, that's my home. That's where I belong, right there. Like, that is my entry point into heaven.
Now, is that both on camera or also off camera?
My sexuality throughout the years.
Because anyone who is just showed up to jerk off to your voice might be gone by now. They're like, when we were doing gender, they were like, "Oh, this doesn't seem hot," and so now I think they're gone. Now I think we can be real with them.
That's so funny. So my sexuality over the years has definitely changed a lot. You know, when I was in my 20s, it was really all about, you know, understanding, you know, my own power as a woman. And I'm definitely, as a dominatrix, as a female, as a human, I love the power that I can wield over men. And so I twisted it as much as I possibly could to see how far I could like push it and what I could get away with. And running around with a fucking dick on really shows you how much power you have over men that really don't want to do that. But your pussy is so powerful that they will get on their knees and suck your dick to get to the pussy. And you know what? I played with that so much, like in my 20s and probably into my 30s, until I realized, like, oh, okay, you know, this is not that entertaining anymore because I pretty much can get men to do anything I fucking
So how far
want.
were you able to push it?
Very, very far.
Like,
We're going to keep everything legal and PC.
oh, okay.
The statute of limitations have probably gone past,
I
but
think
you know.
it's generally 7 years. I looked it up.
Yeah,
It's,
exactly.
It's like I can talk about selling fake IDs in college now.
Things that, you know, are not politically correct now. Like, nobody gave a fuck about in the 90s.
Well, what's crazy is like the term politically correct. I don't think that even works anymore because now it's like, you know, what is not politically correct, like the politicians are on one side are saying it all the time. So it's actually very politically correct for like half of Congress.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, we won't get myself into trouble. But yeah, I pushed it as far as I possibly could.
Okay.
And loved every minute of it. And I believe it was, you know, very spiritually, you know, I felt as though the universe was like, you know, you are here to be that pendulum with men, right? Because at the end of the day, you know, you need somebody to go all the way over here so that we can find some kind of balance in between. And I actually believe my own bullshit.
Well, how has like been finding the balance in between, you know, in your personal life and dating?
Well, you know, now where I'm at as a human being, and I know it sounds very barfy, but it's not really about sexuality anymore. I feel as though I've crossed all frontiers with sexuality. Now it's like, can I communicate to another human being? Can I be vulnerable? Can I truly be intimate, like with expressing my feelings and like being honest with myself? Like, how do I really feel? Like, what do I really need in this situation? So yeah, you know, I spent my 20s, my 30s, and probably like half of my 40s, you know, still fighting with maybe not fighting, but just mastering probably is a better word, like mastering my sexuality. And there's really no stone that I left unturned. So like one of the most like profound things that someone like myself could do is to like be normal.
Yeah.
Like how do I go from being a completely crazy wild bitch to being like a basic bitch with like pumpkin spice latte? And that has been so much work to become a basic bitch.
But like, do you need to be a basic bitch, or is it just about like, how do I connect with another human being on an intimate level and then go be a crazy sexual deviant? Because like, that's where I'm at right now, where I just all of a sudden in the last few months, I realized like, shit, I think my cock needs connection. It's very inconvenient.
Right.
And I don't want to not like go to sex parties and do X and Y and Z. I just like, shit, I think I want someone like I love to be there with me.
Yeah. That's so weird, right?
Yeah, like I want her to be at the glory hole with me. That's what I'm.
Yeah, and I still haven't really gotten there because I'm still very, very, very much like a happy single woman. I don't ever get lonely.
Okay.
I've never been a lonely person, like ever. Like I've literally like looked it up on Google. I don't know how many times. Like I'm like, am I a narcissist? Like because like why am I not like ever lonely? And everything I've gotten back from Google is like, you're not a narcissist. You're just a really lucky bitch.
Yeah.
And also too, I'm very empathetic, which is the opposite side of like being a narcissist. But Yeah, I just I've always had cats. That's probably something else that really helps. So women and cats go hand in hand. And some men and cats go hand in hand too, probably ones that are more connected to their feminine. I also have a dog. I have an Asian houseboy. I have a harem of men for, necessity. So I'm actually very like practical.
Yeah.
When it comes to, but I don't ever feel like, oh, I want somebody to be with me. That's never a feeling I've ever had.
Well, maybe like not the with, like where sometimes people get lonely and they want a partner, so there's someone there to go to the thing with
Or to
whatever.
share their life with or something, like experience things with. Like, I don't get that.
So like, have you ever like felt, your heart connected with another human though?
Absolutely, 100%.
Okay.
Like that is definitely, like I'm very heart connected to my friends, and I'm, for the first time, like in my life, trying to learn how to like heart connect. Not like in a romantic way, but in something that's more, how do you put it? Like that's deeper than a friendship.
Right.
Like a partnership.
Yeah, there's definitely like I can be intimate with someone I only fool around with even just one time.
Right.
But like the intimacy doesn't necessarily mean romance, right? Intimacy just means like
Yeah.
we didn't just like see genitals and go, let's fucking mash them. It's like,
And I don't know if I've ever felt intimate sexually.
okay.
Yeah, like intimacy and sexuality to me like don't go hand in hand.
Right. Well,
Yeah,
I remember.
and that might be because I'm a sex worker for 30 some odd years.
Yeah.
So maybe like to me, sexuality is just not intimate.
Right.
It's just like very transactional. It's very performance driven. It's very and not to say that I haven't been intimate sexually, but I've been sober for 10 years and I really do feel like I need drugs, like a lot of drugs to be like that vulnerable sexually.
Well, I heard you say that in an interview from a couple years back where you were talking about the sobriety and how like intimacy was got kind of weird in your personal life once you got sober, because maybe now you gotta look it in the face.
Yeah, and so like that was one of the ways that I used to separate my sexuality was work sex with sober sex.
Right.
And then my personal sex, I was fucking wasted, And so I still have not gotten to like very vulnerable, sober sex. I still haven't, maybe that's my 60s. Who knows?
Maybe.
There's still frontiers to.
I mean, you have the whole 50s in front of you to open up.
Yeah, I think like the 50s might be of like learning how to be that vulnerable just in a relationship perspective.
Yeah.
So maybe then next we'll be adding sex to that.
Do you feel like you have like trust issues?
Oh, yeah. I don't think that humans should be trusted. No. I mean, we're all fallible, myself included, as a spiritual woman, like I trust my mother goddess, she. And that is the only thing that I truly trust to the ends of the earth, and my cat. Not even my dog. Sorry, dog.
Sure. Well, maybe like another 90-day single life thing will help out.
I don't know. I just, I don't think that it's healthy I think it's healthy to trust to a certain extent, but I don't feel you can put all your trust in another human being. I think that that's setting yourself up for failure. It's setting yourself up for resentments. It's setting yourself up for expectations that I can't even live up to. I can't always be trusted because, overall, I can be trusted for many, many, many different things. But I've had traumas in my life, right? And so, even like the concept of like, how honest can we even be with ourselves, right? We can't always be completely vulnerable with ourselves about our own stuff that we've got going on. And so with that in mind, I can't always show up to be that person for you that you need, right? Because I've got my own stuff going on. So you can't always trust that you can always like rely on me to be what you need me to be, like in a relationship, right?
I mean, you could probably be a great partner even if you're not perfect.
Absolutely 100%. But when that other person puts expectations on that other human being of trust and based upon these certain limitations, right, that we all have, then I just feel like we're all setting ourselves up to be hurt. So I try to just be very, realistic.
Okay.
Yeah.
So kind of like if I'm guarded, I can't get hurt that
and
bad.
not necessarily guarded, but allowing people to be their authentic selves without me putting my expectations on them for what I need.
Yeah. The harem of men you've got like probably strewn around the country. It's like you expect a certain ceiling of them, right? And, and so long as they can meet that kind of lower bar, then it's like, well, then everything's good.
Actually, my bar, I think, is pretty high.
Do tell. What's the bar to be a Brittany Andrews, a member of Brittany Andrews' harem?
You have to have value, right? Which I think is like a huge thing on a lot of women's lips at this moment, right? As a woman that is happy single, I make my own money. I run my own businesses. I've got a vibrator right there.
Yep. And it's the one that it's the cheat code one,
Exactly. I can pretty much do everything for myself, right? So how do you add value to my life? Right. So are you adding value by being a consultant, a mentor, fixing things, I feel like there's been this the cultural change of how men fit into women's lives, right? And I feel like somebody that's been working so hard to be this independent woman, and I have been for a very long time. I've been taking care of my shit, paying my taxes, doing the do. I've lived alone my entire life. I've very much proved I don't need a man to be happy, right? And I think as a woman's movement, we've had to work really hard to to get to that place. But now I feel like we're back at a certain square one of okay, well, where does a man fit into my life? How does this kind of work now?
Well, there are these less than tangible things. For me, I'm a professional poor person. I don't know how to mount your TV. I mean, I'll watch the YouTube video, but I won't trust it once I get it up there. I mean, there's shit.
I know how to do that. I'm very good with that.
Oh my God, amazing.
I just had the maintenance guy in here and I was like, he's like, what did you do? I'm like, don't look at me like that. I'm a filmmaker, a DJ. I got a master's certification in Ableton. I know how to hook up fucking entertainment systems. I know all the wiring, da-da-da-da-da.
But there are other things, that one can offer. And, for me, when I think about what do I bring into a relationship, it's I'm going to make you laugh. I'll make you come and I'll make you feel heard when you need someone to listen to.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. So there's different, and that's why I feel personally I need a harem. Not one human being is ever going to meet my needs. My Asian houseboy, he brings to the table a certain kind of whimsicalness that my life doesn't otherwise have. I'm very structured. I'm very routine. My days are planned out a month in advance. He helps take care of the kids, the cat and the dog, and he provides a lot of humor and lightness, these different things, that you bring to the table in a relationship. But then I have...
Wow, I meet houseboy standards. Oh, okay. Damn. It's not exactly what I was going for, but I guess that's the category I'm in.
Well, when you're broke, right?
Well,
that's houseboy standard, right?
I'm not great at cleaning, though. That's my...
Oh, he's not either. Oh, my God. That's been our biggest... Oh my God, we have gotten into the biggest fights over the fucking cleaning.
But
Holy shit.
But the way you describe him sounds like this almost cuck. So do you bang this houseboy?
No.
Yeah, it sounded like he doesn't. Okay.
He's asexual. He is he's what I call my baby daddy.
Okay.
Right? So he is the baby daddy to the children of the house, and you know what? And yes, he does suck at cleaning. And we've gotten into a lot of fights about it. But you know what? That's part of his spiritual assignment, right? He's part of my spiritual assignment and vice versa, right? And so for him, I'm making him grow the fuck up. Okay. We went to his mother's, I hope to God he doesn't mind me talking about him like this, but we went to his mother's wedding recently and I was like, is she going to give me a thank you card for helping him grow the fuck up, Because she did not do that. Bless her
Was he
soul.
in like, was it early 20s or something like that?
No, he's in his mid-30s.
Whoa.
He's in his mid-30s. And so, but once again, my expectations are very high.
So like, what did the other members of what did the other dicks in the harem offer you?
Some of them money.
Okay.
Right? Some of them are money, support, love. Others are like financial advice, business infrastructure. Like you have to add value to my life. If you don't add value in some way, you're not allowed in.
Yeah.
Right? Like you're just like, you're wasting my time. I'm a busy bitch. I own multiple companies. I got like 30 employees. I'm traveling all the time. Like I don't, like you got to bring value.
I think there's a lot of dudes who just go like, well, I want this person. I want to be with this person. I want this. And like, I'm a great dude just because I am the dude I'm describing. Therefore, I'm the great dude. But they don't even think, what do I offer?
Right.
They just think, well, no, because I'm a great guy. It was like, but what do you offer?
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be money.
Yeah.
But just like, what do you offer?
What do you,
like,
you have to add value.
I know I'm a good time.
Yeah.
That's all. Like, I can make sure like you will have fun. I can loosen you up. I will make you smile. I will make you feel I can do all that shit.
Right.
But there's other things I won't be able to do. And that's okay. And that's why polyamory is great for me.
And I'm just like a trophy bitch. At the end of the day, I'm a porn star. I've put like $100,000 of money into my plastic surgery. But and
but you're
I am funny.
But you're funny.
And
you
I'm
can
actually
talk.
pretty fucking deep too.
Okay.
I can have some good conversations
You
with
jumped
people.
in on gender real quick on this. I was very shocked. Very surprised by you.
So, and being that I've done so much work on myself, both spiritually, therapeutically wise, I expect somebody. And this is where I think that men are really falling short of expectation of female value at this moment is and I see it consistently, my TikTok algorithm is just like overloaded with it. Like we are here doing the work on ourselves, right? And then we are meeting men that have not done any. And I cannot play with that. Like I went to revisit like an ex that I thought maybe was the one that, I fucked up. And until COVID, he hadn't done any work on himself. And I was like, you know what? I can't be with like I've done so much. I've been in AA. Sorry. I've been in 12-step. Sorry, I just want to get to tradition.
Oh yeah, well no, I know the secret society doesn't like when you say this, but we all know the secret society, bros. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. But I've been in multiple 12-step programs for years, and I've done all the work there, and I've done the therapy, and so I've got to be with men that are willing to therapeutically like be at the same place with the vulnerability, the communication, like, where I'm at right now in my life. Like, if you're not like at that same place, if I can't play ball with you, you got to go.
Yep.
Because I don't have time. We get one life, right? And I'm over the hill now. I'm closer to death than I am to life, right? And so I only want to play this game with people that have the same kind of intelligence, emotional intelligence. Because I'm at a place in my life where I want to play that game finally. I never have. I've been too afraid to be that like vulnerable, right? So,
and if he's not doing his work, then he's not in a place to receive. Exactly.
Yeah, he's going to hurt me. He's going to step all over when I'm actually laying things out. And I want somebody to like that partner, right? That's there, that supports me, that is understanding and gets where I came from and is loving and kind enough to step back and to look at their own side of the street and then show up with the right kind of support that I need. And that's what I'm also hoping to bring to the table too, on my side of the coin, besides being the trophy wife, besides being funny and all these other kind of things. Like I'm working on my side really hard to show up to be that supporting, loving, kind, thoughtful human being as well, even though I am a dominatrix.
and I hear women say the same things of all walks of life. It's very similar spies. They're like, it's just like, dudes, go to therapy. Just go to therapy.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And so don't be pissed off that we're all going to college.
Yeah.
We're doing the work, dude. Jump in and do the work with us.
Yeah, a lot of dudes too worried about like, oh, like how do I be a man? It's like, stop trying to be a man.
Yeah,
Just be Jim. Figure out how to be the best Jim you can be. Stop worrying about being Andrew Tate.
Amen.
So something else that was really interesting, I've heard you talk so openly about is, you doing full service sex work in addition to porn.
Yeah.
And it's so interesting because I remember when I started talking to porn stars on the podcast, maybe like 2014, 15, 16, like that would so frequently be like when I asked like, hey, what's off limits? So much I'd be like, you can't mention escorting.
Yes.
Don't mention escorting.
Right.
We don't want to, that never happened. And
Yeah.
even with guy porn stars who like sometimes there's some gay for, don't mention it.
Yes.
And so to hear you speak so openly, like on podcasts about like doing that, you know, is that particular to you as the industry changed? Like, why were people so poo-pooing being a porn star who escorts?
Of course, legally wise, I have to say, that I've never done full service sex work, right? Okay. But I can talk about full service sex worker advocacy. And I can say it with experience. So I'll just put it that way.
Sure.
Trying to, ring around a posy. But I do believe that, as somebody that's been in the adult entertainment industry for over 30 years, I remember when the word sex worker first came out of Carol Lee's lips, right? She's a San Francisco full service sex worker that has since passed away. And I remember it making the hairs on it's doing it again right now, right? Making the hairs on my arms stand up because I knew immediately when I heard that word, it was going to change everything. And you know what? It fucking has. I was right. And that's why it still gives me goosebumps because before that word, there was no way to organize, to collaborate, to unionize. Like there was no way for us to gather as a group and have one strong, solid fucking voice for our rights.
Is that because like the words that were available could be dismissed?
Yeah, because everything was all sectioned, right? Everything was all like compartmentalized. Oh, well, you're a porn star, and then there's the hierarchy, right? Yeah. So you're a porn star, so you're up here. You're a survival sex worker, a street worker, so you're down here. Right. So when we got the word, back then it was like street prostitute. Right. I've changed my language so much. It's hard for me to get outside of that language. But once you use the word sex worker, the hierarchy doesn't exist. We're all sisters and brothers together fighting for our rights as human beings to exist. And before that word existed, and I remember when it first came out, I started saying it around porn stars and their fucking ego was so huge. Like, I don't like that word. And still to this day, there's a lot of bitches that don't like that word. And I'm saying that with non-gender bitches, right? Because they don't understand, right? They haven't been around long enough. They don't understand the political potency that word has for us as a group to actually have a voice and to change legal structures. And we've come more close to it now than ever before because of that word and the unity behind it. And to try to separate it at all and to disassociate yourself with it, to me is like heresy.
Right.
Yeah.
You can't get like a meeting with a congressman as easily when you're like the Association of Strippers or like the Council of Prostitutes. Like like a sex work. Like it's you know what? It's a little cleaner. And if that's what gets people to come to the table to make the real change,
and to actually look at the human beings
and
the rights that they all deserve that are behind the word.
Yeah. It reminds that there. But what is what was the beef and is the beef of in the porn community of like porn, because there are porn stars who won't escort and then there are porn stars who escort and then some will do that openly and some are like, I do that.
Usually it's a husband, a boyfriend, a relationship.
But see, when I was like in my mid-20s, I started chatting with porn stars. It seemed like it was an industry thing. Like you might not get certain gigs if they know you escort.
That's bullshit.
That's bullshit?
That's total bullshit. But yeah, so I mean, once again, I've been around a long ass time. And I remember back in the day, Playboy came to me and they were like, we saw these ads. And I was like, oh no, wink, wink. That's nothing to do with me, right? Because the business used to be really, really, really against. And once again, I think it is just oppression. Men wanting to control women. Like they were like, oh, well, as long as you're working for us, then we've got the control and the money, but you start doing this, then you're independent. And they would use all kind of shame-based tactics. Well, you're going to get diseases and you're going to da-da-da-da-da-da. Whereas hoes, hookers, full-service sex workers are the fucking ones using condoms. They're safer than porn stars are at the end of the day. Because a test doesn't protect you. It only tells you after you fucking got something.
Right.
Thank you very much. Sorry. I'm very passionate about the whole condom thing. I hate the fact that the porn industry has made condoms a historical thing of the past. But
You mean for like in society or like on set?
Both.
Okay.
Because young men have never seen condoms being used. As a MILF that loves fucking young boys, trying to get a young boy to use a condom is like, fucking trying to get,
Just for the record, what counts to you as younger man now?
Starting at 18. Legal age.
Oh, I meant like, what's the cutoff of young man?
30.
30. Okay, we're putting the pen down.
You saw how fast I said that too, right?
But like I think it'd be solved with like sex ed in this country. I don't think we should blame porn. I think we should blame the lack of education.
I think porn is to blame 100%. Okay. I love certain things about porn. And I mean, like MILFs. Right? Like the word MILF, I was retiring when the word had just came out. And for those of you that don't know, it didn't exist before a movie called American Pie. That's where the word came from. And so I was at the precipice of the end of my career at that point because I had aged out. And also I saw the writing on the wall and the entire adult entertainment industry like went into pure collapse and bankruptcy right when I retired. And so anyways, it was more of a business decision for the collapse that I saw coming, but it also had to do with age. And I remember the word MILF had just came out, and those of us that were older in our 30s, we didn't know how we felt about it because the only reference that we had as a positive like role modeling of a older woman was Mrs. Robinson. And that was it. Other than that, if you were older and you were a female, there was nothing fucking positive about it whatsoever at all. Porn has absolutely changed that 100%. And as an old bitch, I have rode the wave with porn. When it was hot to be a young chick, I was there. And when it's hot to be an old chick, I am here. And I'm like very grateful to porn that it did it, in succinct timing with my own aging process. And I truly love that about the adult entertainment industry. But I'm not going to sit here and say that everything about porn I agree with because I don't, right? So there's certain things that I think, and that is definitely one of them, the whole condom thing, because literally, as somebody that's been in this business, like there'll be a trend that happens in porn, right? Like some bitch will start some shit on film, right? And I'll know the scene, I'll know the female that started it, and then you'll see the dissemination of it through full service sex work, like through different countries. You're like, okay, well now it's popular over here in Europe, right? What this bitch started, now it's in Texas, right?
What's like an example of that?
The spit with blowjobs.
Spit with blowjobs.
Yeah, like the lots of spit. Like I remember Jenna actually first started that back in the day, right?
I've only been getting blowjobs for like 15 16 years.
Yeah.
So
this is like going all the way back to the 90s. Yeah.
Were they dry? They were dry blowjobs? That sounds terrible. Sounds horrid. I'd rather just get the hand job at that point.
Says a 30-year-old. Anyways, sit down, child. Anyways, but yeah, you didn't have to get so fucking messy back in the day. But yeah, so then like there's been so many different things like that. Even like certain positions you'll see men do in real life that are only for the camera. And it's like, dude, don't do that. That hurts. The only reason anybody, men learn how to fuck from porn. Whether we want to admit it or not, that is the goddamn truth. And you can see it as a full service sex worker, right? Like all around the world. So to say that, like
the young men are fucking badly in Belgium. They're fucking badly in Japan. They're fucking badly in Brazil. They're fucking badly all over the world.
And let me just say here to all the men that are listening, don't do the up and over.
What's the up and over?
The up and over is what porno guys do to let the camera into to open. We call it on camera.
Okay.
Open it up for the camera. There's
Sure.
a bunch of things that we do on camera. That's like, it's called cheating it to the camera, opening it up to the camera so that the camera can see what you're doing.
Yeah.
So obviously, if you're fucking a bitch, right, and you're right level with her, let's just say missionary position.
Okay.
Right? The penis is like absolutely, you can't see it.
Sure.
Right? So you got to go up and over so that the camera can get in and see the action happening.
Like what? Like you're like.
You want me to show it to you? Want me to get up and over on you, young man?
I mean, kind of. I'm trying to. Well, because like I.
Okay, all right. Let's do this here, right? So let's pretend I've got my penis on.
Okay.
And I'm just fucking you like that.
Right.
You're laying down right now.
Okay.
Right? So you're laying down, right? So if I'm right here, the camera can't get in.
Right.
Right? So I got to go like up and over and fuck you like this so that the camera then is underneath here.
Oh, okay. So you want to give
Right?
them the undershot.
Yes.
Okay.
So tons of men now do the up and over.
I've.
They do the up and over. They will get up on you and go a little bit over and fuck you from that position. And they're getting that from porn. And it's like, no, that hurts. What you want?
Yeah,
is
that was not pleasant for me.
but
I would say.
I'm talking about the actual the way that the penis is inside of you.
Okay.
That hurts like your whole insides, right? Like I want it to be like right at the same level, going as deep as I can inside, not at an angle going like 180 degrees. Like that is just painful to my whole system. Like whatever is right there, my ovaries, you're like poking my ovaries or some shit. So there's like so many things that as somebody that's been in this business forever and you're fucking a ton of people that you see all the different things in porn and how it has translated to mainstream society and what's normal and like what bitch started it and how it came into play and what directors started that and a lot of these things then just, persist for decades and then they get worse.
Yeah, well, because like people saw that sold, so we should do it.
And then they try to like make it more extreme and, and then we're at where we're at today.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like I imagine that also you'll see that with like maybe like archetypes or storylines. And they'd be like, well, that place is doing it and they got a lot of hits, so we should do our version of that. And you pass it around, and that's why we get like these waves of like
you
fads,
almost
like,
just got pegged before marriage.
Yeah. It's like there's the pegging
You can't
fad.
wear that into my room and have me not at least bend you over once, bitch.
I mean, look, before we go, we'll make sure that happens.
I did, like the last 2 years in a row, I did win Dominatrix of the Year.
Yes. You're a fucking, like I said, a hoot. I properly predicted. You can just talk for forever. I could do this all day. There were a couple questions that some listeners had.
All right, talk
I
to
want to
me.
make sure I get to ask for them because if they give me $2 a month, I will open up the floor for questions.
I love it.
I am a cheap whore. But Chuck first want to know. I'll do the light one first.
Okay.
What made you get into DJing?
Okay, so yes, I used to have a 5,000 square foot studio downtown LA. Back in my early 20s, I opened up at the age of 23, and I'm an old school rave chick bitch. So I had tons of friends that were DJs, and I had my first, which I still have them to this day, my Technique 1200 MK2s, still have them to this day. And I had I had a mixer.
Is that an STD or a thing? I don't recognize those letters
Those
together.
are turntables,
Okay.
knucklehead for vinyl. Damn kids. So anyways, so I had my whole setup at my studio, and like I just said, I'm not sober because I didn't participate in drugs and alcohol. I'm sober because I did participate. Mm-hmm. So we used to have some fucking like mind-blowing parties at my studio, and I'd be candy flipping. I'm like, yeah, let me get up on my, it's my own equipment. So I started, like being like a bedroom DJ in my 20s. And I would spin for like friends that were like at my parties and stuff like that. But it was not like overly cool to be a DJ at that point. And
I'd
I was
argue
like,
it's still not.
that's too funny. At a certain point, it was really cool to be a DJ, right? Which is when I jumped into it, when the celebrity DJ was like a thing. When DJ, Pauly, got into it, I was like, yeah, okay, cool. And
Let
so,
Jersey Shore guy hit play.
Yeah, exactly. And so, at that point in time, I was already retired. I was doing independent filmmaking. I had done like 3 years of film school in New York. The independent filmmaking thing is a good way to be a broke bitch. Like, it's a very difficult kind of career to make. They always say it's like a hobby for the rich. And so I was like, bitch needs to make some money. And so I had worked for a DJ booking service, like hosting events. And I'd known the girl for like 20 years at that point. And I said, hey, if I started DJing, could you book me? And she was like, if you're good. I was like, okay, I'll call you back in a year. And that's when I went to Dubspot in New York, and I got my master's certification in Ableton. I took all these music classes. I did that whole thing. And then I started DJing. And then I quit DJing during the pandemic.
Okay. Fair enough. And then
it had its run.
You can tell that my like interest in DJ is very low. So I was like, I don't have follow-ups. But Chuck really wanted to know. And then this might be a way to kind of close out is I'm going to rephrase it more skeptically, but his original question is, has being inducted into the AVN Hall of Fame changed her life in the industry any? Has it changed her perspective? My more skeptical read on that is going to be more like, does the whole Hall of Fame thing really matter? Is it a who you know? Is it like the Walk of Fame star you got to kind of pay for? Like, do people care about it? Do you care about it? Yeah.
So let me go back to the DJ world. So in the DJ world, in the music world, Insomniac, who does like, the Electric Daisy Carnival and a bunch of other, huge music festivals, they have something called the OG crew.
Okay.
And I'm part of the OG crew because in the 90s, I was an old school raver. So I know I was going to all the raves in New York and LA. And so they hook you up. They give you free badges. They've got when you go to EDC, they've got certain rooms that are just for the OGs that they've made for you. They've got certain DJs that come for the OGs. They've in the tent area, in the parking area, they've got a whole OG area. They treat their OGs with fucking respect.
Okay.
Porn, not a fucking thing do you get. Not a fucking thing. They got zero respect for the OGs. So what does it mean to me? It obviously doesn't mean anything because nobody fucking respects it. Right? So, I got to go to the music fucking scene where all I did was do drugs and dance, and I get more respect over there than I do for fucking lasting 30 years in this business. So I might have a little bit of a chip on my shoulder there. Just saying.
It's wild to have a chip on your shoulder. It's like, I'm in the Hall of Fame. Normally you hear from someone who's been snubbed, and you're like, no, I'm in the Hall of Fame, and I got a chip. How does somebody call you and be like, you want to be in the thing?
Well, it's funny because, people all the time are like, yeah, I really hope I get my Hall of Fame. I literally called up and said, I'm retiring this year. Give me my fucking Hall of Fame. And they were like, okay. And I got 2 of them. Right. And I did a huge retirement party and, the whole 9 yards. And I just called them and told them to give it to me. And then they were like, okay, cool. At that point, I'd been in the business for 15 years. So
there are chicks going I really hope I get it. It'd be like, just fucking ask for it.
Yeah, dude, that's all I did. I just said, I'm retiring. Give it to me now. And they were like, okay. So I got that one. And then I had the Legends of Erotica or something like that, the museum that's in Las Vegas. I got it at the same time as Ron Jeremy. And so
sorry.
Yeah.
As a podcaster, I like P. Holmes says scandal acknowledged.
Yeah, exactly.
He likes
I
to
like
say
that.
just an essay, just so we can move past.
Yeah, he was a scandal in the waiting. And but yeah, so we got our one of our Hall of, and he at that point, we did the whole thing that they do in Hollywood. They have a piece of cement that you put something into. And I was wearing Dolce & Gabbana from head to toe. So I did the world's largest, most extravagant foot job gangbang, I did my feet. And he didn't really want to put his dick in the cement. So it's also a store. So then he grabbed one of his toys and he put his mold of his dick into the cement.
They're like, we have to ring you up first. That's
exactly.
Can't put that one back in the pots.
Funny. But yeah, so I wish that the industry would have more love for those of us, because this is not an easy business to stay in for a long time. There really should be a lot more embracing for those of us that have stood the test of time and, and are still kicking it, They should do a little bit more. Hopefully with time and maybe me bitching, maybe it might happen one day.
Yeah. And at least craft services. Can we
At
bring
least
that back?
craft services for the old bitches in the left.
Give me some fucking mac and cheese.
Right, dude.
While I'm drying cum off my tits.
That's so hot. I'm from Wisconsin. I'm a total cheesehead. Cheese and cum. Yes.
Brittany, I could talk to you forever. You're so much fun. But thanks for making time to chat with us.
Thank you. I had an amazing time. You were a lot of fun, boo.
I appreciate you.
And thank you for bending over. You can take that T-shirt when you leave and rip it off of you.
Well, I haven't quite bent over yet. I've been straddled so far by the Brittany Andrews, which I don't know if I even properly introduced you at
All
once.
right, it's a wrap over here. Cut.
But before we go, where can people go find you, follow you, check out your stuff?
Brittany Andrews, Brittany. I mean, if you Google me, you'll be lost for days on end. But BrittanyAndrews.com always works. And then, I put everything under DJ Britstar because Brittany Andrews was taken while I was retired on everything. So you can go to all my links at DJ Britstar.
Crazy. And normally I tell people say goodbye to everybody, but instead I'll just have you close with
Slut, get on your knees and worship.
Sure, once
I hit the altar of Mistress Mommy.
Yeah, once I hit stop. No, it's but instead you can just give a one-word answer if you want.
Yeah, okay, go for it.
We're going to close on
all
this.
Right. One word.
Is the answer to this question is did you bang Eminem?
I take the fifth.
Wait, don't go just yet. Hold on. If you loved Brittany, you don't want to go. Just hold on. Listen to me. Take your finger off the triangle. It's not time yet. There's more Brittany Andrews to listen to. At the end of this little bit, and it's going to be real quick, you're going to hear a teaser of my bonus episode with Brittany Andrews, which is coming out tomorrow exclusively on Patreon. But for now, I just got to say, feel a little called out. When she was all like, and guess it means you don't pay for your porn. Look, I'm poor and trying to survive in New York City. The rents be high. But for the record, I still do pay my monthly Patreon pledge for an erotic artist. That was my very first Patreon pledge, was to an erotic artist, okay? I do try to put my dollars in where I can. And I do think I gotta bring that back. I gotta bring back that, that monthly porn site recommendation. Maybe I'll do that in 2024. I don't have a porn sponsor now, so I think maybe I could do that again. I really liked it. That's how I tried out Crash Pad series. Love Crash Pad series. And Trenchcoat X, that was another one I did before I got the hotmovies.com sponsorship and had to stop. But I pay for some porn. I don't know why I feel so defensive, but I do. Tell us which porn you pay for in the Champagne Room. We actually have a patron-only channel called Porn Share where people actually do that sometimes. Folks, the best place to share your thoughts on this week's show is in the episode discussion channel in the Discord server, the Champagne Room, completely free to join, to engage in the chat with over 700 whoreheads. Link in the notes, or you can go to manwhorepod.com/Discord. You can also email me your thoughts, your questions to manwhorepod@gmail.com. You just may hear your words on the show. And look out for some clips of Brittany Andrews on the TokTik and the the IG, whatever, social media. There's some fun videos. I'm going to put some stuff up there. I have a feeling in the new year, we're not going to go fully to video, but I feel like you're going to start getting some more Man Whore podcast video available. I got it, evolve or die or something like that. Thank you to everyone who supports the Man Whore podcast on Patreon. I'm about to play a teaser clip. I snipped out about 16 minutes of me chatting with Brittany Andrews. In it, we discussed being a gilf, gangbangs, and condoms in porn. You can gain access to the full bonus episode as well as over 300 bonus episodes at patreon.com/manwhorepodcast. And next week, the fan whores, we are doing the hot movie night. Yes, on December 14th, 9:15 p.m. Eastern Time, we are going to watch Sex World, a sci-fi silly porno classic, care of hotmovies.com. That'll be in the Champagne Room. That's a patron-only invitation. I hope I see many of you there. Enjoy the tease of Brittany Andrews. And as always, stay slutty.
There's other women that are my same age, but it's like their first round. They haven't retired yet. And they're just like horrified that, I would be their age and do like a gilf thing. And I'm like, oh, what do I give a fuck? I've been in the business 30 years, dude. Like one of my number one selling pieces of content from back in the day, I had toilet paper on my cunt.
Why?
Yes, exactly.
No.
Why did the guy not tell me? I think because he was stoned and not paying attention. And then somehow it just blew up.
Oh, that wasn't like the theme of the shoot.
No. It was just like, I got a fat pussy. Toilet paper gets stuck in there, dude.
Jerry, we're going to do some toilet paper porn now. I don't think it's good for the SEO. Hello, I'm Billy Presida, host of the Man Whore Podcast. Having put my most intimate stories of love and glory holes on the internet since the age of 24, I understand the importance of entertaining sex-positive conversations. Since 2014, the Man Whore Podcast has shared free weekly content inspiring hundreds of thousands of sluts around the world to communicate better and come harder. With your contribution, One Whore plans to survive capitalism in 2024 while making you laugh and think and ask your partner for an open relationship. I hope I can count on you to support this vital, important, life-changing work on Patreon. We don't have tote bags, but we do have a 53-minute bonus episode of people having oral sex. Become an official fan whore today at patreon.com/manwhorepodcast. Thank you.